Merry Christmas to all. Shout Joker here, and welcome to, another video. This is probably going to be the only Christmas special I make because I'm being serious here. I genuinely can't think of anything else to make a Christmas special with, so we're doing this. But what is even the topic of this video? Ice levels in video games, and in real life, ice and snow is, while very beautiful. I mean, I love it aesthetically. It's very pleasant to look at. Actually, trying to move around snow is a pain in the ass. Same goes with video games. Most snow slash ice levels slash whatever you want to call them, while having a very pretty aesthetic, they just don't play right. Though there are a few exceptions to that, and I do want to highlight them. So, what are the rules for this list? Well, obviously, the levels have to be ice/snow themed. That's pretty obvious. To be honest, rules outside of one per franchise and only from games I've played, which is just typical countdown fare at this point. Anything goes. So, which one of these chilly climates do I like the most? Let's find out. Starting off, and I'm already technically cheating. But before we get to that, why did I choose Twist Mountain of all ice levels in Pokemon? Well, I have a very easy, simple reason for that. Most ice areas in Pokemon games, not gonna lie, kinda blow. I mean, the original, I don't even remember its name, where you can catch Articuno. It's okay area, I guess. I like Dugong a lot more than most people, so sometimes I catch a member of my team there, but it's honestly more annoying to go through, so I can't say I like the area. Gen 2's Ice Dungeon is a mix of both being bland and annoying to deal with. I don't get enjoyment from doing it. As for Gen 3, the Shoal Cave, it's not really annoying like the others, but it suffers from the case of blandness. Gen 4, don't even get me started. Those ice areas suck. Cold Storage is once again kinda bland. I really can't remember much about outside of you getting the Skull TM in it. So I typically use Dugong, so like, not Dugong, Samurott, so that's very useful to me, but like, is there anything else? Is there anything else in this place? No, okay. Gen 6, to be honest, I haven't played Gen 6 in years, so whether I actually like that ice dungeon or not, I'd have to play through it again. The only one that really came close to being on this list is Victory Road. Route 10 and even not so much. Sword and Shield's Route 10 is, So why did I choose Twist Mountain? One, I'm technically cheating by using it here. Because it's only an ice level, or snow level in this case, since there aren't really any ice physics, in the winter. So I'm going to have to explain why I even put it on the list. Yeah, it's not a snow level most of the time, but you find the ice rock to get Glaceon here, so I count it. But as for why, to be honest, as confusing as it is to go through the winter, I honestly prefer going through Twist Mountain in the winter. 1. Cryogonal, my favorite ice type in the entire series, has increased encounter rate here. I am using a damn cryogonal on my team. Maybe Barrett's could be kind of cool. And I've used the Vanillix before. It was very clutch in one playthrough, but Cryogonal can take Fire Blast from an high dragon and still be standing. I don't need much more reason to use any other ice types. And you do get to go about it in any way you want. Sure, there are items which will be easier to get in any other month. Not month, season. But I just prefer going through it in winter. It's very open area, and even though I do prefer more linear and constrained areas, I'm not very much for big open areas, with literally one exception out of pretty much every game I played. This is an exception, though. And there are some kind of tough trainers, debatably. No, I have an Archeops with an attack boosting nature on my team. Okay, now I'm kind of just recalling my latest playthrough, but I like Twistmountain more than most. Though it's at the bottom because, once again, the only reason it's really on this list is it doesn't really have much competition in its own franchise. Pokemon's ice areas are kind of the most bland in its series. Even more than water, in my opinion. And how does that happen? And as for my Ice Zelda dungeon of choice, I went with the Snow Peak ruins from Twilight Princess. Now, this actually wasn't the easiest decision for me to make because, unlike most people, I actually really like a Snowhead Temple. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I played Majora's Mask, but if my memory is correct, that is what it's called. And I do actually like that area. More so because of story factors, because from a story perspective, my favorite part of Majora's Mask is the portion where you're using the Goron mask the most. But I decided to give it to Snowhead, or Snow Peak, because I do feel it's ever so slightly a better designed dungeon. Also, it does have some pretty good heartwarming feelings. Now, you enter in an extremely fun way. You meet this giant guy, you race down a slide, sledding to get into the dungeon. Then he sends you on a fetch quest, which actually sounds kind of boring, but kinda is. Because you obviously just want to get your MacGuffin that you get at every dungeon like you want to. Unless I'm just remembering things wrong. Which, considering it's me, I probably am. But, yeah. And the places that he says he think are... Actually, yeah, I think Yeti says it. Wait, no, it's Yetta, his wife. Says, here's where the key or whatever is. But it's just ingredients to make pumpkin... Oh, wait, no, you want to find, like, a mirror shard or just a mirror. I can't remember. It's been a while since I just played Zelda in general. But instead of finding what you need, it's ingredients for pumpkin soup. Then you actually, later in the dungeon item is probably my favorite in the game. Not favorite in the game, but it's very fun to use. The ball and chain. It's not very practical at all, but I just find it incredibly fun to use. As for the, and then when you find the mirror shard, yeah, it turns to evil monster, and it's actually rather scary, but then after you defeat her, it's very heartwarming. Literally, they hug each other, and and hearts pop out. It's just beautiful, man. And that's really all I have to say about it. It's rather fun. Some of the puzzles involve ice physics, which can be a little annoying. But I still really like it. I think it's an incredibly well made dungeon. Just like my last countdown had a lot of games I don't normally talk about on it, here we have another batch of game. Well, not batch, but the point is I don't talk about Mega Man all that much. Honestly, that's a bit of a crime. I like this series a lot. Even though I've only really fully played like 2 games, I still think the series is rather fun. And since I've only played 2 games, there wasn't much competition for the spot. It was down between Shield Penguin, because the other game that I have played through fully was X, and Tundra Man stage from 11. As much as I love the boosting that you get in Shield Penguin stage, I think I like Tundra Man's more. Admittedly, a lot of that has to do with Tundra Man himself. He's probably up there on my list of robot masters. But what do I like about the stage? Well, it is kind of typical of Mega Man stage. Well, at least when it comes to ice. And it has been a while since I have played through 11 fully, so I might not remember a lot, but I'll try. There's like, well, I like the music. It's Hundred Man's theme is so good. It's beautiful, just like he is. Um, there's just I just like it. It's kind of weird. I can't really put it into why I like it, but I just do. Mainly why I can say I don't. No. Mainly why I can't say why I like it so much is I didn't bother to replay the stage just to give myself a refresher on the hazards and stuff. There's like these bunny enemies. There's a section with winds pushing you and you have to jump to get lives and stuff. It's good. Once again, the main reason why I put Hunger Man stage on this list is the boss fight at the end. It's a really good boss fight. Well, let me it's a Mega Man game. There's bound to be like 1 or 2 bad bosses, but most of the time they excel at the combat when it comes to bosses, and Hunger Man is no exception. I think his fight is great. Though, admittedly, it is kinda easy to use it. You don't have to use this weapon. The bounce ball is so overpowered that, like... Yeah. But another reason why I like the Sage is Hunger Man's weapon. It's my second favorite in the game behind the bounce ball because, like I've said, it's pretty damn overpowered. Like, sure, well, I mean, I guess it's overpowered in the sense that it's a screen nuke. That might have something to do with it. It's typically my go-to for the Wily fight, the final one. I don't even know if it's his weakness. It's just so hard to hit that I'm just like, fuck it, I'm using a screen nuke. Oh no, I really like Tundra Man's stage. Next spot goes the Death Peak from Chrono Trigger, and okay, now that I'm noticing, this game is making quite a few appearances on my countdowns as of late. Like, it's a fantastic game. I'm glad that's happening, but like, why have I not noticed this until now? Anyway, Death Peak. This is a pretty good ice level. Admittedly, there are 2 points in which it gave me a bit of frustration. Where, where you had to hide behind trees at the right times in order to not be sent to the beginning, and that, well, not as much frustration, I got that section where you have the same winds blowing, but you have to walk on a very tight, like, passages, I guess, or breakages, or whatever you want to call them. But, like, you have to rush in order to not fall off. Those are the only real gripes I have with the thingy, the level. There are quite a few things I like about this level. This is the first time the player really gets to play around with Magus. Unless, of course, you just decide, you know what, I'm just gonna have the Fiend Lord just fight, like, Amanitas. Because that's an effective use of my time. And, well, Magus is fun. I like every party member, but he's fun because he can nuke everything with all kinds of magic. He's great. And, words get to fight the lava spawn, which pretty fun boss fight. I don't think they're anywhere near the best. There is a pretty obvious best boss in the game, but like, I'm saving that for another video. God damn it! I might make that video. I'm just spoiling things left and right. But what got it on the list was the emotional moment with Marl / Luca and Chrono at the end. Like, man, this game has a god tier story, but can you not make me cry, Chrono Trigger? That's all I ask. And if Justice pretty much won off. Pretty much every attempt to make this like a proper franchise has failed, so I'm gonna treat it as if it's a one-off game. I know Chrono Cross exists, and I'll probably play Chrono Cross someday, but not today. It's just sighs, words. It's very emotional, and honestly, if this is what Square can do, honestly, I feel like I should be playing more of their games. Chrono Trigger is literally the only game made by Square Enix that I've ever played. What am I doing with my life? And next up is Shiver Burn Galaxy. I really like this galaxy. Alright, first point goes to it being a galaxy within Mario Party, no, Super Mario Galaxy 2, because this game is literally, like, the best thing ever. No, like it's really good, like, shut up. What am I even saying? But there's one thing that I really like about this galaxy. It's that it builds on a concept of a galaxy from the first game. I can't remember its name, because I haven't played Mario Galaxy like at all in years. Like, I played Galaxy 2 all the way through at least once. I haven't played through Galaxy 1 yet, though. So, yeah. But I did play some as a child, so it's not like I'm gonna talk about things from Galaxy. At least I haven't yet. Unless there's one thing on this channel that I am forgetting, which I probably am not. I should get to talking about what I actually want to talk about. That builds on the concept of a galaxy whose name I can't remember from the first game. To be honest, the one problem I had with that galaxy was it was an interesting concept, but it split the concept of mixing both a fire and ice level together to one mission being ice, at least out of the main missions, one mission being fire, and one mission mixing them. Shiver just does that. In general, the final concept, I mean, and it does it really well. Play around with the cloud flower, fire flower, I think. I'm probably misremembering, but I think you get to play around with the fire flower in this galaxy. And it's great. You also get a boss fight with, like, the air, I think, the King Caliente, assuming that King Caliente is actually a king and not just named that because the localizers thought that King Caliente sounded fun to say. I'm just proving their point. King Caliente is fun to say. King Caliente, King Caliente. And Shiverburn is a great galaxy. I love it. It's good. Not much more else to say. Oh, also, this is something I haven't been doing that I should probably do. Why is it not in the top 5 if I like it so much? Well, as much as I like the concept of mixing both ice and fire galaxies, since it is a mixture, it's debatably not as much as an ice level. Sort of like with Twist Melon, though I still count it as it's on the list. I love Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This will be something I talk about in my next major video, but this game is a masterpiece. And I'm glad that after months of finally playing it, I get to talk about it in the countdown. My life is complete now. So, Kingdom of Tonto. Let's start off with a positive. There are no ice physics. Oh, thank Jesus. Oh, no ice physics. That is something that I've wanted to hear for a long time. They could have made this area really annoying by playing ice physics, but they didn't, and I am oh so grateful. Now, let's get another positive out of the way. That music. I kid you not, when I first played Xenoblade 2, the beauty that was the visuals of Tonto, combined with the music, it actually made me cry. Moments in this game have made me cry for sure, and I won't spoil them out of not being an arse. But they've made me cry from an emotional level, but this made me cry tears of beauty. I felt like I had seen true beauty. And that's part of why Tonto is on this list. I'm kicking myself for not putting in the top 5 because does kind of deserve it. Now I do have my problems with it, of course. And there's so much I like about it. Plus, this is the home of the best character in the game. Of course, I'm speaking objectively. What do you mean that Zeke is not the best character and that this is very biased opinion? Shut up! Shut up! Okay, I'm good now. And I like a lot of the story here that we find out about Tonto. They're very much isolationists, with literally, like, needing to be called with a blade of the heir of the kingdom. They don't want, they really don't want to participate in what's going on in Ulrus. At least I got that impression. Uh, Plus we find out that the Tantalesian royal line isn't actually the heir to Adam, you know, the hero who pretty much saved the world, thus had, like, his power. So, I don't know, it's been a while since I've gotten to that part in Xenoblade 2. But, yeah, it's good game. Good area, good story elements. Though there is one problem. Even though Xenoblade 2 is that one game I was mentioning earlier when I said pretty much every game that has stupidly huge open areas, I don't care for. Xenoblade is the one exception. I love Xenoblade 2 so much. You can get a little lost after you confront the Tantalesian King and get Pyra back. It's very easy for that to happen. Besides that, and that sort of being the reason why it's not in the top 5, I think Tonto is easily Xenoblade 2's best area. Probably one of my favorite levels in all of video games, but since this isn't on the but as for why it's not number 1, obviously, this is a judge on how they are, is how much I like them as ice levels, not just as levels in general. Next up is Kirby, another game series I love a lot, but I don't talk about a lot. Because Triple Deluxe is amazing, man. It's fantastic. As for level I went for, there honestly aren't too many good just ice levels in this game. They don't appear all that much. But I decided to go for the bonus stage of the world. I can't remember. I wrote down as 670X, but when I went to look for footage of 670X, it was telling me that it was both Royal Road and Endless Explosions. But it's one where, like, if you watch Choga Conroy's Triple Deluxe LP, it's the one where he gets Bell just per level because it complements the Christmassy atmosphere a lot. And that's why that level makes the list. It feels a lot like Christmas. Mainly, that is the only real reason it's on the list. So why did it make the top 5? It's a Kirby level. How many badly designed Kirby levels can you name by memory? Oh, wait. Exactly my point. Coming up next on my list is Cold Reception from Fire Emblem Fates. Now, I actually... how do I want to say this? I the words, there are quite a few wintry slash just snowy Harmon chapters I like. First is specifically Germain's chapter Pale Flower of Darkness. If you want to see more about that level, I just wrapped up a Let's Play of that game, so go watch the parts where we take on that chapter. And the other one is, at least out of the Fire Emblem games I played, Hermia Marches. It's a pretty well-designed chapter. Siege Tomes can be a little annoying, which is part why it didn't make the list. But why did Cold Reception make the list? Surely Pale Flower of Darkness and Hermia Marches are better from a story perspective. Yeah, you'd be right. And it has a better stage gimmick at least. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the real reason why reasons pick this as the one that I use for this list. Path of Rage, you get Shinon, and Ari had a really good role. Step aside, buddy. And for Pale Flower of Darkness, got Harkin, who I really only use in one chapter because I typically have a really good Raven. Or Karel, which in my Fire Emblem Let's Play I had a really, well, not really good. My guy was kind of in all honesty, but that's just because he has very low actual killing potential outside of a lucky crit. But yeah, pretty much stuff happens. I am so stupid. And Corral, though I've used twice, I've used in my first Hector mode playthrough, and I used him on my first playthrough. Just general playthrough. But Niles and Odin are who you get in Cold Reception. And in my most recent Conquest playthrough, all of them served me very well. Niles was Niles. I decided to be an absolute genius and give a unit with the skill of +1 movement a mounted class. Which, oh, that was so fun. And I decided to make Odin a Dark Knight, and he did have a pretty good niche, actually. He was a Dark Knight who was actually built more like a physical attacker as opposed to a magical attacker. Which actually gave me a little bit of a reason to use both him and Leo. So I'm mainly picking this chapter as my Fire Emblem chapter of choice, or this list, because of the units you get. But I still think it's a really good chapter. Though, to be honest, there isn't much for me to say about it. So let's move on. It's time for a beautiful time for me to talk about Undertale. Probably one of my favorite games, just in general, of all time. The writing's clever, the game's fun to play, it sounds like a dream, and it looks beautiful, but this is not an Undertale video, even though I'm mentioning it. This is going to be talking about Snowden. Probably my favorite area in all of Undertale. And that's for one major reason. Not the enemies or mechanics of the area. Literally the two main characters you encounter, Sans and Papyrus. They are my two favorites. Sans being number 1, Papyrus being number 2. With characters I will more than likely discuss in a later video being in latter portions of that list if I were to make a top 10 Undertale characters list. They're probably some of the funniest characters in the game. Though I'm going to be real, I don't know how many people will agree with me on this, but I only really find them funny as a dynamic. gonna be a bit of a tangent, but a lot of my friends who play Deltarune like me, like, Roxcar is great character. I'm like, I don't see it. Like, look, they're largely a combination of Manta and Papyrus, two of your favorite characters. How do you not like Rogue's card? And that's why I figured it out. The only reason I find Papyrus to be as funny as a character as he is, well, of course, he has some good lines on his own, but he wouldn't be anywhere up my list of favorites if it wasn't for his dynamic with characters like Sans and Undyne. Mettaton is really funny, but once again, wouldn't be on the list of my favorites if it wasn't for their interactions with Alphys. It's an example of a character that works really well, but only with other characters. He's not the strongest character in the world on his own. Though I do still find him enjoyable on his own, don't get me wrong. But, yeah. There isn't much to say anymore. Like, I've said the main reason I like Snowden is because Sans and Papyrus. On that music, it's Undertale. You have to mention the music. And the dog mini-bosses that you fight are rather comedic characters. And I love the feeling that the town has, and actually the enemies have a lot of charm in this area. Okay, I think I've said enough that I like about Snow, and that's for why it's not number one. There's one Snow level I like a bit more. I don't talk about Sonic all that much. So what do I do for my number one slot? I give it to the Hedgehog. So, Sonic Unleashed. Even now, it's a very divisive game in the fandom. A lot of people really like it for really good reasons. It's probably one of, if not my favorite Sonic games, so like I'm with you guys. Some people who go, Werehog bad. That's a real good complaint. Come on, who would think the Werehog is bad? It gives you jazz music! Seriously, name me one sane person on this planet. It's not like jazz music. Like I said in the Kirby section, that's what I thought. So why Cool Egg make the list? Number one fact, over Snowden and Tonto and so many other levels I sung a high praise of. You can go fast. No, I'm serious. That is the reason I like Cool Egg. You can go fast. It just such a good level because you can go fast. That's all I have to say after these great analysis of ice levels that I've been able to pull. So many good things I've been able to claim about Tonto and Snowden and Death Peak. Number one is you go fast, haha, brr. Okay, but seriously, why do I like this level just because you can go fast? It's Unleashed. As Bobbles Minion said before, Sonic can go so fast in this game that it can give you motion sickness. Oh. So that's why I like this level a lot. If it was any other Sonic game, I'd be like, yeah, this level's kind of mediocre. But simply because it's Unleashed level, all I need is to go fast. And that was it for this countdown. Tell me what ice levels you guys like. Anyway, this has been Shell Joker. Have a Merry Christmas, everyone.